do my podcast in person, I would do it over Zoom. And I took a break because it's my last semester of school. And I've just been so busy with school and fucking writing for KHI Press now. I just, like I said, went on the back burner for a couple months.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I was working with Overtime Heroics MMA. I don't know if you've ever seen
Oh yeah,
them,
cool.
but I ended up not getting along with one of the head dudes from England.
Oh really?
Yeah, because that's where they're based. So that ended. But I've been on um three MMA podcasts regularly, and
Okay.
then um oh, that Tai Tuivasa video is hilarious.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
I steal a lot of your stuff, by the way.
It's all good. Take
Yeah,
it.
you and a couple other people. All right, we can get started. Let me see. Anything else I needed to say? Alex
Behunin.
Behunin.
Boom. Perfect. Alex Behunin.
Bloody Canvas.
KHI Press.
Cage Side Press. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that's a
That's my.
pretty popular website, isn't it?
Yeah. 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 It's a big one. It's one of the bigger ones.
All right. Let me pull up the notes here.
Yeah. I just started using this black background um, a couple interviews ago. I did it with Impa and I did it with Jack Shore, and I actually like it. At first,
Yeah,
I was like, it's kind of whack, and it looks kind of, but I got some good feedback on it, and
it looks official.
yeah,
Looks
so
like you're making an attempt.
right, yeah, for sure. Yeah, this I fucking love this card that's coming up, dude. I love it. Love
Yeah,
it.
too bad we lost the Kyle Dukakis fight.
Yeah, yeah, that's whack. But it's crazy. I mean, Jack Shore's on the prelims. Impa's the first fight on the fight card. It's crazy.
Yeah, I hope he wins.
Yeah,
Me
I think he will.
too. Well, he's minus 300 favorite. If he loses a minus 300 favorite in this spot, that's not good.
Right.
Am I right about that? Minus 280. Some money's coming in on the other guy. It's hard. It's hard to. Not only is it hard to break down every fight on a card, it gets a little worn out. You know what I mean? A lot of people do that, and
One
so I'm
hundred.
just like pick 4 or 5
Yeah, I
and
mean,
just hammer those down.
100%. And also, like, there's not a lot of people that'll listen to a long video of like fight breakdown. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many people doing it that like it's hard. So
Yep.
I totally get it. Totally get it. That's why when I was working with when I was with a buddy Canvas and we were doing the fight predictions, like those videos would be like an hour and a half long. I'm like, dude, no one is gonna watch this. No, they're gonna fast forward to the to the fights they want to hear out, and that's it. Like,
Yep.
and
The
for
main
so
card.
long.
Yeah. It's very labor intensive to do that. And
Yeah,
yeah, that's why also what I'm trying to do different is, and I know it's not that different, but just get different people on and talk with them,
for
so it's
sure.
not the same thing over and over.
Yeah, 100%. No, it's great.
Okay, let me do an intro here. Oh, let me pull up. Let me pull up something real quick. What other websites do you frequent?
So Stateside Press, School King Sports, Bloody Canvas, but Bloody Canvas is kind of like on a hiatus. And then I do my own website. I do my Humanizing Athletes series. That's my big one.
Okay. Wait. Oh, Jack Shore's on this one. Jack Mays was on last Bellator. Okay. All right. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Nuts and Bolts MMA, where you get the nuts and bolts of what's going on inside the world of MMA. I am your host, Travis Montgomery. We have a great show for you in store on this episode. Please go to Nuts MMA on Twitter and Nuts and Bolts MMA on Facebook and Instagram, where I post daily fight announcements and other cool MMA related stuff. Me personally, I'm not working this week, so I'm doing a lot of running, a little self-care as I try to kill the time when I'm not seeing my son as much as I'd like to right now. My last court date did not go good. So if you get to see your children today, even if they're getting on your nerves, just be glad you got to see them. But I am not one to sit around feeling sorry for myself. That's why we have work to do today. I am joined by Alex Behunin from Cage Side Press. We are going to do a little quick recap. There's a lot of news to get to. It's like drinking from a fire hose, and we will preview UFC on ABC2. Alex Behunin, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just chilling. It's been a good it's good early month for MMA. Got one last night, Bellator tomorrow, Bellator last week, UFC this Saturday. I'm stoked.
Yeah, ONE FC. Demetrius Johnson got kneed into oblivion last night. I won some money on that. I'm not going to add it to my podcast results because that's different. But if you follow me on Nuts MMA Twitter, I've been kind of hot lately. I'm not going to lie. 5 units yesterday. As you know, I like to approach things from a betting standpoint. Whoever else is on the show, if a guest, they don't bet or whatever, that's fine. I like to get everyone's unique take. ONE FC was pretty lit last night. That was fun. We had Bellator. We have another Bellator. We have PFL coming up. I mean, it's just, this stuff is just crazy right now. But what I like to do when I have a new guest on, I like to ask them, how did you get your start in MMA, and how long ago was it? What did it look like when you were first starting to watch the sport?
So I started watching. It was a couple months before Tough One, but BP Ultimate Fighter is what got me into the sport, and I've watched ever since. And I mean, I don't think I've missed a card in almost like going on like 5 years. Like I'm a fucking diehard. Like I watch them all, and I'm very grateful that I'm actually I'm going to school with a journalism degree, and I'm going to graduate next month, and I want to cover the sport, and I want to cover these the sports that I've been watching for almost 20 years. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, very good, buddy. I'll be rooting for you, and I'll be sharing all your stuff. Give him a follow. You're one of my favorite follows on Twitter. Alex Behunin, Hunin. That's correct, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you post a lot of daily stuff. I just told you that I take a lot of your stuff because you're a good follow on Twitter. So go ahead and give the man a follow. Also, Cage Side Press and Bloody Canvas. Check out those websites. They're really good for MMA content. You don't need to always go to your mainstream sites. Give some support to us independent people working in this space. So, to recap Bellator from a betting perspective, from what I did, I picked up 2 units. Would have been 4 if Usman Nurmagomedov would have got that finish on Mike Hamill, which I think if he had another minute or two, he probably would have got it. So, what was your big takeaway from that card? As I need to pull up my betting results real quick. So Usman Nurmagomedov, he's Khabib's cousin. What do you see from this guy? He looks pretty flashy on the feet, right?
Yeah, I mean, he looked good. I wasn't super impressed with him, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that whole family, cousins, brothers, second cousins, whatever, they're all going to be beasts. And but I mean, for his first fight in Bellator, I don't know, it didn't wow me, to be honest with you. But I mean, he's going to be a monster, and I'm looking forward to see what he has, next. There was somebody on the prelims, Chris Gonzalez. He beat down Roger Huerta, and I'm very impressed with him. I think he's going to be a stud. And Tyrell Fortune, I'm kind of high on him, and not a lot of people are kind of not as high as I am. And I mean, I see something in him. Jason Jackson, I had him winning versus Neiman Gracie, and then of course Pitbull, man, he's good. I can't wait for that against McKee.
Correct. So let me just rewind a little bit, because the last episode, the only thing I did was a betting preview for Bellator 255, and at the time I had Gonzalez. Poor Roger Huerta. I pretty much called it, and there's a lot of when he comes from a great camp too. I had Jackson over Neiman Gracie, and he definitely won that fight, even though some weird shit happened. And then I had Pitbull with Nurmagomedov inside the distance. So as it stands, that event was a complete wash. But I ended up betting Pitbull inside the distance, which was plus 200. If you follow me on Twitter, you could see that. Anyways, yeah, Tyrell Fortune is, just use your wrestling. You don't need to stand there and throw haze with people. I mean, so he did what he was supposed to do. Jason Jackson is an athletic freak. Neiman Gracie can probably still beat a lot of people, but Jason Jackson comes from a great camp, and he's super athletic, and he knows he can wrestle his ass off. So, now the big thing is Pitbull versus AJ McKee, which is one of the best fights at featherweight in a very long time. What you have is like the old guard, the best fighter in Bellator ever, versus this new guard, kind of huge, absolutely huge for the weight class, and with skills to match. I think they've even said that at his team, Josh Thompson said that Pitbull could fight at 135 if he wanted to, and AJ McKee is going to fight at lightweight someday. So I'm really interested in to see how this one's going to go. Do you have any quick predictions on that one real quick?
Man, I think I'm going to go McKee, but I don't know. I have to kind of I'm still thinking about it, but right now, as of April 8th, 2021, I'm going McKee.
So am I. I think it's that, in this sport, the young eats the old. We've seen it happen time and time again. there's a lot of OGs out there that have some crazy fight IQ, and they're able to win a lot. But we just saw Stipe get the death punched out of him by the newer, fresher guy, and this stuff happens in the sport all the time. So there's no betting lines out yet. If AJ McKee's a sizable underdog, then I'm going to say put some money down on AJ McKee.
And I don't know, it always gets brought up, but like I wish they could fight in the UFC just like a one-off, because I would love to see Pitbull against anybody in that featherweight division in the UFC. Same with McKee. I think McKee is gonna beat Pitbull, defend it once, and I think he's gonna sign with the UFC.
Yeah, I would love to see that. And like I said, I think he's going to move up in weight. And if Pitbull's going to make the transition, it's got to be now. It's got to be not now, but it's got to be soon. And I think he's under contract for another 2 years or something like that. So a boy can dream, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. I think Pitbull beats everyone except for Holloway and Volk.
Wow.
Okay. I think I really do. He's got finishing ability. He's got power. He's got that crazy guillotine. If he puts that thing on you, man.
It's hard to kind of counter argue you. I mean, it's true. He's good.
But I think AJ McKee can stay on the outside and get the better of the kind of the scrambling exchanges when that happens. I see him. The way to beat Pitbull, you're not going to knock him out, because if you play that game with him, he's going to start you. You have to win moments with him. You have to win minutes. And then that ultimately will win rounds, just like Volkanovski. You're probably not putting that dude out. And if you do something dumb while trying to do so, he's going to put you out. So that's, if I was AJ McKee's coach, that's what I would be doing. But what the hell do I know? I'm just some guy that talks into a microphone about MMA. Anyways, let's go to some news now. Finally, we get our Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier trilogy match, which we knew was coming down the pike after they announced Charlie Olives versus Michael Chandler for the actual belt. And something that we brought up before, we were kind of wondering what was Dustin offered, because if anything, he should have at least been offered a title fight. And through one of his tweets, and he's arguing with a dummy on Twitter, which is so much of that going on. He said he turned down the fight with Charles Oliveira. So that's what we were kind of wondering back at episode 3, I believe it was. So we've got that July 10th at the T-Mobile Arena. They're going to have fans. Well, that's what I think they're targeting. I'm not sure if it's exactly a done deal yet, but that's where it looks like it's headed. Your first thoughts on this trilogy match, Alex?
I like it. I mean, I think in a perfect world, I would have liked to see Dustin fight Charles Oliveira for the title, but I'm happy that he's getting another payday, and he's going to get paid for this trilogy. You know what I'm saying? And he deserves it, man. Dustin Poirier is a fighter's fighter, and he deserves a big payday, and he's going to get it. And it is so crazy, because I think I'm going to lean Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Which is and I'll probably look like a clown afterwards, but I think I'm leaning Conor.
Well, as we've seen, rematches never go the same, so we can call this a rematch. Conor got one on him. Dustin got the other one. If you take away the calf kicks, and if you expand on Conor landing that left like he did, and then Dustin admitting to saying he got rocked, even though he didn't show it, and that Conor could have finished him at that point. I believe it was in round 1. Yeah, there's a good case for Connor, and he's actually the favorite in this one.
Crazy.
So yeah, it's well, the odds makers they want you, in my opinion, they're trying to get you to bet on Dustin so they get their money back, which is that's what odds makers do. They actually try to attract money equally on both sides, but um
The only thing about it that like there's like so many questions, right? It's because his coach was like, and I don't know how much they were bullshitting about them not knowing about calf kicks, or if they were playing coy, if they knew about it and they just didn't train it. Because I mean, it happened in January. It's only going to be about 5 months. Is 5 months really that long to learn how to check calf kicks? You know what I'm saying?
I would say yes. I would say if he's really working on it, did he sell his whiskey company and he's training MMA full time?
He sold his whiskey company. I don't know if he's training full time. I don't think he's ever going to train full time again, because why would he? I would love to see Connor train full time and like fight 2-3 times a year, but who knows?
Yeah. So Connor's minus 125. Dustin is plus 105. So it's near pick'em. I'm probably going to be going with Connor at UFC 264. It just leaves Justin Gaethje in such a weird position right now. Who everyone's got to fight except for Justin. And if you go down the line of the rankings, everyone has a fight except for number 7, Rafael dos Anjos. Or else, have you heard anything about that?
I think he's either going to fight RDA, or Dana was saying that he might even step in. He might be the replacement for Michael Chandler and Charles Oliveira. Like he might be the backup for that fight.
Yeah, that'd be cool if somehow he can get a payday. But I mean, Justin Gaethje's done everything the UFC has asked him to do, and it just seems like he's getting a shit end of the stick right now.
Yeah, but then again, I mean, everyone's matched up. I mean, so it's either he's gonna fight way below him, right? He doesn't deserve a title shot because he just lost to Khabib, right? So what do you do? And he likes to have a full fight camp. That's like his number one rule. I think he broke it with the Tony Ferguson fight, which I get it, right? But that's so I don't know. I mean, if I was him, I would just fight RDA and get your name back out there, because I think that, I mean, that's what happens with these fighters that sit out, and it's happening with Colby. Like he's gonna sit out, and people are just gonna you know go
Yeah,
by.
sitting out for too long is not good for a lot. Some people can turn it around like Dominic Cruz, but it's not good. I think there might have been a dispute with Dana with the Michael Chandler and Justin, because he was supposed to fight Michael Chandler. I'm not sure what I read, but there was something that happened, and all of a sudden he's Michael Chandler's fighting Charles Oliveira. I think it was a negotiation with Gaethje that changed, because it went from one day that it was all but signed, and then so what? Okay, whatever. We'll move on.
There is a little conspiracy there too. Is I don't know if Dan would be this petty, but so Ariel Helwani broke the news of Justin Gaethje versus Chandler, and then Brett Okamoto broke the news of Chandler versus Oliveira. And so there was this thing like, what if Dan was like, no, you're not gonna break that news, and so they just switched it up on him. But that's just conspiracy.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time
Exactly.
that Ariel's broke something prematurely.
Yeah.
What
Exactly.
was it? The Brock Lesnar. Yeah, and then he even got like banned for coming to press events for the UFC. But now he has like the biggest talk show for the UFC.
Right.
Speaking of drama, it's a good segue. John Jones versus Francis Ngannou. We just can't figure this shit out. Francis was offered Derek Lewis, but turns it down. John Jones is campaigning that he wants to get paid. I say I see no reason why John Jones can't be get paid a little bit more to fight Francis Ngannou, or a lot more. I think historically he's been kind of probably underpaid. It came out that he was making 2 or 3 million a fight or something like that. What are you have any thoughts on this situation? What do you think should happen?
So let me preface this by saying I am a John Jones fan. I am his number one fan, and I have been for a long, long, long time. So I mean, obviously, I mean, he should be paid more than Conor McGregor in the perfect world, just because he's the best fighter on the planet. It's not going to happen. He doesn't sell as good as other fighters, right? Now, him going up to heavyweight to fight Francis Ngannou, yeah, he should get paid more. Obviously, he said $10 million. I don't know. I mean, in a perfect world, fuck yeah, he should get paid that. But I don't think they're going to. Also, I mean, he also screwed the UFC several times. So I mean, there is that aspect of it that everyone's just kind of forgetting about. Um, I
UFC
mean,
200.
yeah, I mean, screwed the UFC, and that's that, and then his multiple arrests, being stripped. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he screwed the UFC, and so yes, he's the best fighter of all time, but should he be rewarded? I mean, I don't know. It's such a sticky situation. You know what I'm saying? It is. Although, yeah. So I think he should get paid. I just don't know how much they're going to pay him. And fighter pay is a hot topic, because obviously fighters should be making way more money. Yeah.
Yeah, they only get 20% of the revenue, which has come out in reports. There's a lengthy report out there. I don't know where it's at off the top of my head, but a couple things I will say about this is from a promoter standpoint, you have Ngannou now, who is craziest story ever. He's lighting people up. He's knocking them out. That's kind of a cash cow for Dana White right now, and John Jones is a threat to that. I mean, they could line up the whole division, and Francis can just clean them out, and they can build a superstar that way. Or you can have John Jones come in here and just shit on that whole party, and then have leverage over Dana and play these games that he's playing now, like, I'll fight, no, I won't fight. Peace out, I'm retiring. Imagine if he had the heavyweight belt. In Dana's mind, he's thinking, oh, I can have Francis, who's just going to knock everyone on their ass, or I can have John Jones, who's going to play chess with me and demand more money. And the only person that's ever been able to leverage the UFC is Conor McGregor, and I don't think Dana wants that again. If we're going to get conspiratorial. But what the hell are they going to do?
You make good points. You really do. You make really good points. And that's always been like, I've always like, I wanted Francis to become champion, just because he has the Mike Tyson effect. Like, he has it. But then there's John Jones looming out there that can just snatch that up and make the heavyweight division as boring as he made the light heavyweight division, because he was so dominant.
Yeah. And John Jones is hard to hit for all of his decline and maybe his offensive flashy stuff that he used to be able to do. It's hard to get a glove on him. And in my opinion, if Francis gets pushed into the later rounds, I think he gasses hard, like really hard. But you got to get there first. So we'll see how all this is wrapped. It's like now we have the heavyweight division. It's kind of on hold, and
Gun to your head. Is Francis versus John Jones happening this year?
This year, I'm
By
gonna
fall. By fall. So August, September.
no, I don't think so. I think Dana White wants to leverage Francis Ngannou, and John Jones wants to get paid more money, and I don't think they're going to pay him. Then
Would you be mad if they do Francis versus Derek Lewis, and then depending on how that fight goes, they do John Jones December?
I would love for that to happen. I just don't see it. I think they're so far apart that they're never going to come together. I think they want to milk Francis a little bit more, and maybe it'll build up into something bigger to where they'll want to pay John. But John wants to get paid, and I don't think he's gonna take the same amount of money. So
And he shouldn't. I mean, he could lose.
no,
I mean, if if he takes the same amount of money, fights Francis and gets starched in the first round, what does that do? I mean, to the casuals, that'll fuck up his legacy, right? But so it's just
yeah, that could be one of the biggest fights of all time, and I think they make enough money, but they're just going to milk Francis. That's my opinion. And Francis even said that that's the fight he wants. Pay John Jones, pay them both. It'll be a huge. It'll be a huge thing. Okay, moving on. The new fight kits. I don't think anyone was going to be happy with the Reebok replacement. Most people weren't happy with them. What do you think about it?
they're cool. I don't understand why the UFC just won't let the fighters have one sponsor on their shorts or two. You know what I'm saying? Like it would just it would make the fighters happy. And like this is real. I mean, I understand it's a business and everything, but there is no business without the fighters, right? And I mean, just if you were just to give them a little, just one sponsor, right? A list, give them like a list of 50 sponsors, right? No Condom Depot, no Fleshlight, no whatever. Right? I'm saying no Budweiser, no Red Bull. You know what I'm saying? Because Monster. You know what I'm saying? But give them like a list of 50 sponsors. You can pick between these. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't understand what the problem is. But I'm not a business person, so people smarter than me obviously are figuring it out. I don't. It's annoying to me.
It is. Um, yeah, I wish the fighters could have their old sponsors back. I wish they could make more money. The fight kits are a step up visually from the Reebok deal. It's just fighter pay. Another reason why they should be paid more is they should have their own sponsors. I miss those days. The fight kits are whatever. I guess it's a step up. They look cool. I think the company Venom is pretty cool. It's better than having Reebok, in my opinion.
Right.
One thing we haven't gotten to that has been announced is, for all these divisions where we're not figuring out anything, at least we're going to get Sandhagen versus Dillashaw. And I know that they're going to have to do the rematch, which hasn't been booked yet between Peter Yan and Aljo Sterling, but that's another conversation. Sandhagen versus Dillashaw. TJ Dillashaw is coming off of his suspension. Actually, 1 month from today, they will be fighting on ESPN, UFC Apex Center. There's a lot of good matches on this one. It's a card I'm looking forward to. Alex, what do you think TJ Dillashaw is going to look like after his suspension for EPO? People don't know, that's blood doping. That's do you know what blood doping is? Maybe you could explain that.
No, not really, but you can go watch Icarus on Netflix and it'll explain it for you.
Or Lance Armstrong, that's what he was doing too. It's where they take your blood out, and I think they put it in a centrifuge or something. They spin it around to get more oxygen in there, and then they put the blood back in, and so
Right.
it gives you more cardio.
basically real heavy duty steroids. When I was younger, I shot steroids for a while before I went to rehab, and
Congratulations. I'm just kidding.
uh, um, but yeah, but the anyway, but EPO is just it's a whole new, it's a whole other.
I've been to rehab too, two or
That's
three
so good.
times. So that's why I do all this. I run and I meditate and I take hot baths because I'm alcoholic and drug addict. And if I
Mhm.
don't do these things, then that's why I started this podcast, because I got my kids' rights taken away from me. I got all this free time. I got to do something or I'm going to drink and use, and it's not good for anyone. But I'm sorry.
Oh,
DJ
and
Dillashaw in his
you're you're
suspension.
an addict like me. High fives to the Zoom.
Boom. Yes. I go to 12-step meetings too.
Nice.
But
Yeah. So, man, this fight is fascinating to me. It gets my heart pumping. Like it's starting to pump already just thinking about it because I don't know. Um, I don't know who to pick. Um, it's going to be interesting how TJ looks after 2 years. It's going to be interesting because he put on muscle. Um, so is he going to try and use power? Is he going to try and wrestle Sanhagen? Um, and then,
he's got to
oh,
wrestle, I think. I'm sorry. He's got to.
yeah, right. I mean, you would think so. You would think so, but also, I mean, if you look at Dillashaw's losses, besides the Cejudo one, which you could argue was early too, I mean, he doesn't get finished. He doesn't get finished. And the John Dodson one, early, and then he has two split decisions which easily could have gone his way. So I mean, people forget Dillashaw is very very good, very good.
True.
And I saw someone. I just saw this argument. I don't know who it was, but somebody said, "I'm not sure about Sanhagen because he beat Marlon Moraes, who's looking very chinny nowadays,
Yep.
and he beat Frank Yeager, who's obviously not the same Frank Yeager.
Nope.
But still, there were two two very good finishes against two really good guys. But he was just finished by Aljamain last year, so it's like, so there's that argument, right? So I don't know. I am fascinated by this fight. Fascinated by it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think TJ Dillashaw is going to have to mix it up, because the way that Corey Sandhagen's looked on the feet is a problem for any. I really want to see Sandhagen versus Peter Yan. I think that is the fight. But if Dillashaw is a plus 145 underdog, that's not that much. Plus 130 in some areas. Corey Sandhagen is minus 165. That's pretty close. So the odds makers are saying this is going to be a competitive fight. So I tend to believe that too. Yeah, I can't wait for this card. It's great. On the same card, Diego Sanchez, Donald Cerrone, Manda Ribas, Angela Hill. That was just announced. We got Maurice Green versus Marcos Rodrigo de Lima. I believe that's his last name. Ben Rothwell, Felipe Lenz, Maurice Green. I saw him on Facebook. He's lost another like 20 pounds or something. He's got no fat on him now. So yeah, if he could, keep that movement up. Ryan Benoit versus looks like some European dude with a bunch of consonants in his name. Just kidding. Zaruka Adeshev, whatever. It's a good card. UFC on ESPN 24. We're looking forward to it. What about, let's get Donald Cerrone a win? Can we, please?
Yeah. Goddamn. Hopefully.
Okay, well, we will move on to the preview now. UFC on ABC2, Kyle Dukakis versus Alishab Kariziev.
Good luck with that one. I don't know. I don't even know
Yeah,
how to pronounce that.
Kiziev. Yeah. Either way, it doesn't matter because they're not fighting anymore. Don't need to learn that one for this episode because Kyle Dukakis, who I mean, we got one guy with cock in his name, and then the other one's all over the place. But anyways, they're not fighting anymore. So let's move to we got a couple fights to cover. We're not going to do top to bottom card. Real quick, I'll give you some leans and some bets for this event. Daniel Rodriguez versus Mike Perry. I don't think Mike Perry is in mental shape to be fighting, as we've seen with his Instagram live videos. Daniel Rodriguez looks to be the sharper fighter at this point. Alex Behunin, what do you think?
So Perry looked actually very calm at the press conference yesterday. I was very impressed with his demeanor. That being said, I think Daniel Rodriguez takes this fight. I think he finished. I don't know if he finishes him because it's hard to finish Mike Perry. I think only Jeff Niels has finished him. Is that right?
No, Luque almost did. He busted his nose up, right? So yeah, he has
It's
Jeff Neal. And yeah, well, Donald Cerrone armbarred the shit out of him. Remember that?
so
Yeah.
I mean, look at his opponents. He's say what you want, but I mean, Ponzinibbio, Felder, Luque. I mean, dude, he fought knockout artists and they weren't able to finish him. So I don't think Daniel Rodriguez is going to be able to finish him, but I do think Daniel Rodriguez beats him.
Yes. So Mike Perry 14-7, Daniel Rodriguez 13-2. Mike Perry fights out of his house with his girlfriend, I guess. That's his. I'm not saying he beats his girlfriend. I'm just saying that's his. He doesn't have a training camp, really. I'm not sure.
Train at MMA Masters.
Oh, okay. Well, that's probably, I don't, yeah, maybe if that's new or whatever. Daniel Rodriguez is from Black House. They're 10 Planet. I'm sorry. Mackenzie Dern's out of Black House, who's coming up next. He's at 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, which is kind of crazy, weird because he's got 7 KOs. You'd think he'd have more submission victories. I'll make it official. I'm going to take the under in this, under 2.5 rounds in this fight. I appreciate your opinion on that Mike Perry doesn't get finished, but I think all those wars will catch up to him in this one. This is where we'll see the switch flip to Mike Perry getting finished more, either by sub, but then if you take the under 2.5 rounds, Mike Perry could land something on him too. The inside the distance for Daniel Rodriguez is in the plus 250 range, which I kind of like that one too, but Mike Perry could land if he's really sharp. He looks like he's lost a lot of body fat. He's ripped. Yeah, I'm going to take the under for 1 unit. It's right now it's at plus 115. The money keeps coming in on the over. I like to fade the public ahead of time. Remember that when the big limits open up for the pro bettors on fight day, because you can only get so much money down before fight day. Once the limits open up, you start getting those $5,000, $10,000 wagers that really start to make the lines move crazy in one way. That's when you know that a pro's hitting it. Those are the ones that you want to follow, not the public action. So we're going to make that one official under 2 rounds for it. It's a plus 115 right now. Nina Ansaroff versus Mackenzie Dern. These WMMA fights are hard for me to predict. Gun to my head, I think I'm going with Ansarov because of American Top Team. This is a kind of a theme that I've been rolling with lately. Looking at fighters training camps, and most things being equal, I like to go with somebody who has a good training camp, American Top Team, even though she's 10-6. Mackenzie Dern, as beautiful as she is, I'd like to see her around. She's 10-1. What do you think about this?
So Nina Ansaroff is now going by Nina Nunes.
Okay, I saw that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I wasn't sure how to call it, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm actually going to Mackenzie Dern. I think Mackenzie Dern caps her. So for the longest time, I thought Mackenzie Dern's stand-up was very sloppy. But in her last fight against Janjiroba, she showed that she's improving and she's working with Jason Perillo. So I think that if Nina Nunes stands with Mackenzie, there's a good chance that Mackenzie lands one and puts her down on her butt, and you're not going to try and grapple with Mackenzie Dern. So I just don't think that Nina is going to be able to. The only way I see Nina beating Mackenzie is outplaying her, and I don't think she's going to. So I think Mackenzie Dern's going to win, and I think she's going to take her number. I think she's number 5. She's going to take her number 5 spot, and it's going to be one fight away from a title shot. Boom.
Boom. Yeah, I like that. Jason Perillo. You know who you train with and who you train under matters a lot. Nina, for those that don't know, Nina Ansaroff just got married to Amanda Nunes. Is that correct?
Correct.
So good for them. Congratulations. And I believe they have an adopted baby. So that's cool.
Gave birth.
I kind of like. Go ahead.
Nina Nunes. So the only X factor is this is her first fight being a mom. So I don't have kids, but there's a good track record of fighters becoming parents and winning. So
yes, unlike going on the Joe Rogan Experience and then having him fight, because that doesn't seem like it's working out for anyone, even including wrestling, because Jordan Burroughs just got beat by Kyle Dake and is not going to the Olympic Games. Anyways, back to this fight. Women's strawweight, Nina Nunes is ranked 5th. Mackenzie Dern's 11. So that's a jump up in competition. If you want to bring up the betting odds for that one, who would you say is the favorite?
Mackenzie Dern? Is she the favorite?
Nope, you are wrong, sir. It's Mackenzie Dern's the underdog. Now that you're saying that she's working with Jason Perillo and she's got an advantage on the ground, we know this. 10-6. I don't know. I'm going to be looking at this one a lot harder. You could see my pick on Twitter for that one. I've been dog shit in picking women's MMA lately, so I've just haven't been kind of staying away from it. Another one that I'm not really too sure about is Joe Solecki versus Jim Miller. This seems like a winnable fight for either guy right now. Jim Miller's going to show up old one of these days. What do you think?
Well, I'm 100% with you. I do not know who to pick. I mean, you can kind of lean Joe Solecki just because he's younger, and he hasn't lost in the UFC yet. But Jim Miller, I mean, he's still good. He's still good. I don't know. There's not a whole lot of analysts analytical stuff I can do for this fight. I'm just kind of going Joe Solecki because he's younger, really.
Well, all right. Here's analytical fight. Here's some analytics for you. Jim Miller wins in the first. or Selecki wins later. Because Jim Miller comes like a hell-bent demon in the first round, then tends to gas. You can see it in a lot of his fights that go past the first. If he doesn't get finished in the first, he gets a finish in the first. And he hasn't been winning too many decisions lately. And for the price to bet on our boy here is too much, minus 200 range. Yes, 240, minus 240. That is a stay away. But Jim Miller has to be praised for, I think he has the most fights in the UFC. Did you just have an interview with Impa Kasangane?
Yep.
I really hope he wins this weekend. He unfortunately was on the other end of that highlight reel. What did you get out of your interview with him? Do you think he's ready for this one?
Yeah, so he switched camps. He moved his family and him moved to Stanford MMA. So now he's with a big gym instead of a small little gym, and he's dropping down to welterweight, which he's been at middleweight his whole career. So we're gonna see a new Impa, and I think he's gonna beat up Sasha. I think this is
Sasha Palatnikov.
yeah. I think this is a get right fight for Impa, and yeah.
I'll probably be using Impa as a parlay piece. Now that you've told me about the move of camp and dropping down in weight, I probably should have known that, but I didn't. And the Jung, I think it's a good spot at minus 140. It's not a bet yet against William Knight. That's going to be a banger.
Yeah.
Now to the co-main event of the evening, Arnold Allen versus Sadiq Youssef. Obviously, Sadiq is hell on the feet. He's a minus 145 favorite. Arnold Allen is plus 125. I think this is a crazy matchup. What do you think?
I love this fight. It's fight of the night. Wow, Arnold Allen is the underdog.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I am very high on Arnold Allen. I think he's championship material. To be honest with you, he's very, very good. People say that he's another fighter that he only fought once last year, and so people kind of forgot about him. And people are like trying to write him off because he beat Nick Lentz, which Nick Lentz is tough, and then he retired Gilbert Melendez. Granted, it's a worn down Gilbert, but still Gilbert. Unless Sadiq knocks out Arnold Allen, I think Arnold Allen's just gonna bully him and just impose his will and win his decision.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to be taking Arnold Allen for a unit at plus 125. I will probably even see. I bet it'll be a pick 'em by the time I think smart money will come in on Arnold Allen. I believe that he will catch Sadiq Youssef coming in with something crazy. He's the more patient fighter. Sadiq, with all of his skills, likes to, I think, get a little too aggressive. And Arnold Allen is more well-rounded and more patient. I think he's going to catch him with something on the way in. And he's fought, Gilbert Melendez and Nick Lentz, but that's not his fault for being put against those guys. Crazy skill set, possibly championship material. So yeah, we're going to add a unit on plus 125 Arnold Allen to go with our under in the Mike Perry Daniel Rodriguez fight. Now to the main event. Do you have anything else to say about this co-main event before we move on? Two exciting guys. Either one, a win for either guy is good for that division. Now, unfortunately, we have Kevin Holland versus Marvin Vettori. Kevin Holland is a plus 285 underdog. Marvin Vettori minus 345. Ugh. Wait, who was Marvin's? I'm sorry, who was Marvin's scheduled to fight before this?
Darren Till.
That's right. Yeah, that was going to be a really good fight. This one, maybe not so much. What are your thoughts on this?
This might be crazy, but I think I'm just gonna say it. I think Kevin Holland's a more tougher fight than Darren Till for Vettori, just because I think Holland is he's very he's crazy. He's got a very he's very underrated. I don't know. He's weird wild. That being said, Marvin Vettori is very good. He's very good. But I kind of want to pick Holland because of a couple things. I think that if Marvin Vettori is going to try and stand with Kevin Holland, I think Kevin Holland will mop him up on the feet. Also, Kevin Holland has something to prove because he was embarrassed. His last, it was what, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, he was embarrassed, and he's got something to prove. And for him to lose, so he's in a main event. He main evented ESPN. Now he's in a main event ABC. And I think that's, it's got to be in the back of his mind that if he loses another one in the main event, like his stock's gonna go down, right? So I think I think I'm picking with my heart than I am with my brain, to be honest with you. There's a heart pick, and I think Kevin Holland. I think picking Kevin Holland. Fuck it.
Okay, I appreciate that pick, but I'm going to go ahead and disagree with you.
As you should.
So he just had a 5-round fight where he was dominated by being taken down, which is something that Marvin Vettori is very capable of. His wrestling is very, very good. He got down Izzy. He's used his wrestling a lot, and I think I hate to say it because Kevin Holland is one of my favorite fighters right now, but I think it was just a bad. He needs to get out of that camp. He needs to go somewhere. I mean, can you imagine Kevin Holland if he? I'm not saying this would ever happen or could happen, but if he moved to Dagestan for like a year or two and was just, he had all the tools, but he was able to just wrestle like one of those, Dagestanis.
Screw that. Just go to team elevation. Could you imagine Kevin Holland with team elevation? Oh,
yeah,
be a monster.
I just see him getting taken down. Marvin Vettori has very good kickboxing. I think if it stays standing, Kevin Holland has a chance, but he's kind of entering this Donald Cerrone territory where, yeah, he'll show up and fight, but he's not going to always win. What are his aspirations? Is it to be a title challenger? Is it to get in there and have fun? We talked about this so much on the recap. I'm not sure what episode it was, but now that he's accepted this fight on short notice, fighting somebody who has the wrestling ability, I mean, and what does this do for his stock if he gets finished here, which I want to be putting a unit on Vettori inside the distance at plus 120. He's got 5 rounds to fight Marvin Vettori, who just went 5 rounds with Jack Hermanson and looked really good. I mean, he just fought Jack Hermanson. And was able to hang with him on the ground and all that stuff.
It's kind of crazy because Kevin Holland has good jiu-jitsu. He just didn't use it at all against Brunson.
He held himself in position. I don't think he's strong enough to get these middleweights that cut a lot of weight that are super strong. I mean, it's not me to tell anybody's business, but I think he should move down to welterweight. and him and his coach said as much that it's possible for him to move down to welterweight. Just taking this, and granted, it could be a big payoff because if he beats Marvin Vettori, he's right back there again, and I will be happy for him. I'll be happy for the middleweight division. I kind of hope he proves me wrong, but I'm thinking with my head here, and I just don't see this working out for him. And Marvin Vettori has been on this climb too. I hate to say it, but Marvin Vettori inside the distance plus 120. So to wrap up the bets, under in Perry versus Rodriguez plus 110. Arnold Allen, which was plus 125, and Vettori inside the distance plus 120. So we're getting all this dog money. Anything else on this card or anything else that you'd like to say about UFC being on ABC?
Yeah.
Here's what we should say is that it's an early start time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That it is. No, I was just going to say, so we got Jack Shore fighting. He's one of the best bantamweight prospects. Watch out for him. Erin Blanchfield's making her UFC debut. She's one of the hottest, brightest prospects in the women's.
You mean she's attractive?
She's cute. She's cute. But I mean, she's very, very good. She's weathered. She's only 21 years old, but she's been around the block. So there's that. And then there's a few fighters that are making their UFC debuts. Luis Saldana and Ignacio Bomontes making UFC debuts off of Dana White's Contender Series, and they're both finishers. Also, my guy Jorgen De Castro is fighting for his job this weekend, which he should dominantly beat this guy that he's fighting. So
yeah, Jorgen, you need to have a fire under your butt, buddy, because we've seen some outings that have not looked good at all.
So I talked to him before this fight, and he knows what's at stake, and he said he's going out on his shield, but he's very happy that he's actually on the prelims because his UFC debut was on the Izzy Whitaker card, right? He stepped in on short notice to fight Justin Tafa. Then his second fight was on the UFC 249 where he fought Greg Hardy, big card, the first fight card back from the pandemic. And then his third fight was the co-main event on the Holly Holm Irene Aldana. So he's the UFC obviously really likes him, and they're throwing him in the spotlight. But he's very happy just to be on the prelims, and so look for a very flashy performance by Jorgen Castro.
Cool. And I'll be looking at Norma Dumont as she wrestles around because she's got a very nice caboose. She's got my favorite in the UFC. Okay, well, I think that will about do it. Again, please go to we're on Apple Podcasts now, so subscribe there. There will be more content coming. We'll be doing fighter interviews. Thank you so much for joining us again. We like to give shout outs at the end of each show. I'm going to give a shout out to the Instagram people that follow Nuts and Bolts MMA. Facebook is not doing good. Twitter is doing all right, but our Facebook, people seem to like the content there. So shout out to all the Instagram followers. Alex Behunin, do you have any shout outs to give tonight?
I just want to give you a shout out for asking me to come on. It was fun, and that's it.
Awesome, buddy. We'll do it again sometime. Everybody else, step your game up. Boom. Okay. Thank you, buddy. I'll tag you when it's out. I'll probably drop it tomorrow morning.
Sweet.
But it was great talking with you. Thank you so much for coming on, man.
Of course. I didn't know that you're a recovering drug addict. I am too. I just took 9 years this year. I'm going on 10 years. Yeah.
Awesome. I would have taken an 18-month chip 3 days ago, but I'm on 45 days right now.
Sweet. It's fucking tough. tough, but one day at a time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why I just got to stay busy, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm gonna
Sure.
edit this. I think you'll like the final product. I'm gonna go and take out the pauses. I have an intro, and then I throw an outro on there too. I'm
Wait.
I'm also formerly well, I'm an audio engineer and music producer, so
Ah,
all this
awesome.
stuff comes like easy for me. All this audio stuff.
I listened to the one that you sent me today, and I actually like your intro. That shit's dope.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's rad.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah,
Alex. Well, thank you so much.
for sure.
I'll talk with you.